Let me now bring on board Mr. B. Hussain, Country Manager and Managing Director of ABB, to talk numbers. Mr. Hussain, morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. First, a comment on your numbers. Your sales were way below estimates. Now, what has worked for ABB for the quarter gone by is the power system and power production vertical, but there is a big drop in the automation business. Why is that?
One is the revenue growth in Q4 last year. Okay, if you look on quarter, we have had a 7% growth, and you got a lot of the backlog that we have. It depends on the timing, the contractual timing of the delivery. So it had to do more with contractual timing than anything else. If you look at our order backlog, we have an extremely strong order backlog. We're over $2 billion of order backlog. So this was entirely a contractual timing issue. So that's on the revenue itself on Q4. We still have a 7% growth, but it was a contractual timing that had an impact. The second aspect is on the automation side. And there I would say that while in process automation, there has been a little bit of slowdown in orders, but that process automation deals with new greenfield expansion, when people go in for increased capacities. But if you look at automation market, which we also serve from the product side, there we have had a 29% growth. So on an overall basis, the automation market has grown. It is that the nature of growth is more at the moment to improving efficiencies, improving productivity, rather than in putting new lines in place.
Mr. Hussain, how much orders have been booked in the fourth quarter, and what is the current order book status? Also, if any part of the HVDC order of the power grid were booked in the fourth quarter, and if you could talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. The power grid order, the high voltage DC Northeast Agra project has been booked in the last quarter. The portion, most of the portion of the order book has been booked by ABB in Sweden. In India, 560 crores was the order that we had booked in Q4. If you look quarter on quarter on order growth perspective, we had grown 58% in the quarter of 2011 versus the quarter of 2010.
Mr. Hussain, if I look at your operating profit margins for the quarter gone by, which is Q4, your operating profit margins were about 4%, whereas your order or your margin guidance is about 8 to 10%. Are you confident that if not in this quarter, but maybe next 2 or 3 quarters, you will be able to regain peak levels of 8% at PAT level?
If you look at quarter on quarter, quarter by quarter, we have improved our margins. We have taken a number of steps, including, looking at indigenizing the designs, improving the operational excellence, part of it, new product introduction, etc. And all these things have begun to show results, but for them to get full impact still takes some time, but I think that is something that is the nature of the beast as such.
Mr. Hussain, has the process of provisions for rural electrification projects been completed, and what has been the provision that has been created in this entire process?
For the rural electrification in the beginning of 2011, we had indicated we have about 100 crore worth of backlog. End of 2011, we had 25 crore backlog, which we are still executing. So we have brought that down very, very substantially. We don't anticipate any significant surprises now in the backlog that is left for execution. So we think the worst is really all behind us.
Mr. Hussain, ABB is a zero debt company, but if I look at your income statement, there is a component there which is interest cost for the quarter gone by has gone up. So how come your interest cost for the quarter gone by have gone up when you're a zero debt company? Are these working capital loans which are fueling to your interest burden?
At the end of the quarter, okay, at the end of at the end of our reporting period, we continue to remain a debt-free company. Okay. However, through the period of the quarter, yes, and earlier as well, during course of the year, we have had short-term borrowings, and you see that reflected in the interest costs. But at the end of the year, we remain debt-free.